everybody! I'm Miss Allyson and I work at the Northeast Regional Library. But today we're here at one of my favorite places in Louisville, the Speed Art Museum. And I have my good friend Shannon here, who is the Director of Education at the Speed, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the Speed Art Museum.
Welcome to the Speed, Miss Allyson, and welcome friends to all of you. I'm so excited that you're here at the museum today. The Speed Art Museum has been open for almost 100 years. We first opened in 1927, and we collect works of art from around the world and throughout time. We have works of art that were made thousands of years ago in ancient Egypt, and we have works of art that were made just last year. One of our jobs as a museum is to protect these works of art and keep them safe, but also to share them with all of you. So if you're ready, let's go learn about art.
Now we're going to read Anna at the Art Museum by Hazel Hutchins and Gail Herbert, illustrated by Lil Crump. While we read this book, I'm going to have my friend Shannon, who works here at the Speed Art Museum, help us with some museum tips. Anna at the Art Museum. And on the inside cover, you see lots of different shapes that look like frames for art. Anna at the Art Museum. Here's our title page. Anna at the Art Museum by Hazel Hutchins and Gail Herbert, illustrated by Lil Crump. Anna was not happy. Everything at the art gallery seemed old and boring. Anna would have to entertain herself. "Roar!" she said to the lion. "Quiet, please," said the attendant. When Anna carefully lifted her foot onto something that looked like it was for children, the attendant shook his head no and pointed to the sign, "Attention, do not touch."
So when you're at the museum, you'll see a lot of platforms like this one. And you may think that those are there for you to step on so you can get a closer look at the artwork. But really, those platforms are there to remind us to stay a little farther away from the artworks. Here at the Speed, we ask you to stay 3 feet or about an arm's length away from all of the artworks in the gallery.
So Anna and her mother had a talk. It was one they'd had earlier, but perhaps Anna had not listened quite as closely as she should have. No shouting, no running, no touching. After that, Anna pretended she was a small bush in a forest of tall trees. One of the trees swayed to the side. There was something interesting beyond. Anna moved closer and closer. Bing, 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 bing. Anna didn't know paintings could have alarms. Everyone turned and stared. Anna quickly ran away.
So Allyson, do you know why we ask you not to touch the paintings at the museum?
Tell me why.
All of our fingertips have oils on them. Think of the screen of your phone or of a tablet or even a glass of water after you've touched it for a long period of time. All of those fingerprints would build up on the surface of these paintings, and it would cause damage that would be really hard for us to repair. So that's one of the main reasons that we ask you not to touch the artworks while you're at the museum. The other reason is just so we don't damage them. We might trip and poke a hole in a painting or knock a sculpture off of a pedestal. A lot of the artworks here at the Speed have been here for hundreds and thousands of years, and we want them to last 2,000 years into the future for kids to be able to see them then too.
Nice. On the second floor, Anna found a window nook. While her mother looked at paintings, Anna gazed longingly out at the street and the harbor beyond. If only the museum could be turned inside out or the world outside in. In the next gallery, she pulled out her snack. But why was the attendant looking at her that way? "Are you hungry?" she asked. "We can share." He was not hungry. "No eating," he said with a firm voice. She could only drink at the water fountain in the hall.
So while it's really sweet of Anna to want to share her snack with the attendant, there are 2 reasons that we ask you not to eat or drink while you're in the galleries. One of them is that if you happen to have an open glass or a bottle of water and you trip and fall, your water could spill onto a painting or onto the floor. The floor would get slippery, the painting would be ruined. That's why we ask you not to bring any drinks into the galleries. And with food, while it may be very tempting to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the gallery, you might leave crumbs of bread behind you, and that would attract ants and other insects, and bugs can be very harmful to paintings. So that's why we ask you to wait and enjoy all of your snacks in our cafe.
And then she saw the half-open door. When a door is half open, it is very hard not to wonder what lies on the other side. Anna, cautioned her mother softly, no entry means we aren't allowed. But, Anna began. Once again, the attendant was walking toward her. This time, however, he surprised her. It's not a busy day. They might let you in. Would you like me to ask? It was like a secret workshop. Here, art was studied, repaired, and cleaned. As years of grime were removed, the face of a young girl slowly emerged. It was a bored face, a grumpy face. Anna knew that young girl. She hurried to thank the attendant. She's just like me, Anna told him, or I'm just like her, which made the attendant smile. And now something had changed. On the floor above, Anna danced patterns of her own. She felt color swirl around her, but it had been a long afternoon. Even her mother was ready to go home. They took the fast way down, pausing only long enough for Anna to whisper to the lion, "I'll be back." Then they pushed open the wide gallery doors and Anna skipped through, letting inside and out flow together. And the back of this book talks all about the famous pieces of art that are in the illustrations. Thank you. So we learned about things we're not supposed to do at the museum in our book, but Miss Shannon, are there things that we can do at the art museum?
Definitely. There are lots of things that you can do at the museum that allow you to play and have fun and use your imagination. And we're going to use our imagination with this painting. So Miss Allyson, I'm going to ask you to imagine that you're stepping over this frame and into the world of this painting. As you walk around and explore around you, think about what you would experience with your 5 senses. So as you're exploring and wandering through this painting, what are some things that you see?
Let's see. I see a building back there. It could be a castle or maybe a school. I see some big trees right here. Lots of grass. I see the ocean. Yeah.
And I see one more thing that you didn't mention, which are these triangles in the ocean, which make me think of sailboats out at sea.
Yeah.
So we've talked about what we see. What would we hear if we were standing inside this painting?
I think I would hear the wind blow.
Oh, definitely.
And maybe if that building is a school, I can hear kids playing, and I hear a school bell going off, and I see the ocean, or I hear the ocean waves crash.
Maybe some seagulls or other birds flying around,
Yeah.
cawing above us. Okay, so we talked about what we would see, what we would hear. What would we smell if we were in this painting?
Ooh, I would definitely smell these flowers right here. And maybe I would smell what the ocean smells like, which is kind of salty.
Now here's a tricky one. What would we taste if we were standing inside this painting?
What would we taste? Now that is something that we can use our imaginations on. So maybe I can taste, because our smell and our taste are connected, I can taste the saltiness of the air in the ocean.
Sure.
And maybe this bush has some berries, so I can taste the berries.
That's what I was going to say too. It looks like they're little red circles of paint mixed in with the yellow and the green of the leaves. So I was thinking this was maybe a berry bush of some kind.
Oh, yeah.
So then lastly, our fifth sense, what would we touch or feel? What different textures would we feel if we were inside this painting?
If we were inside the painting and not touching the painting itself.
Good point.
That's true. I could touch the brick of the building. I could touch the leaves on the trees. I could feel the grass. Maybe I'm barefoot and I'm walking around. Ooh, and we could feel the water of the ocean.
Feel those waves
Yeah.
against our toes, against our fingers, whatever we're touching the water with.
That is such a cool activity to do while you're at a museum.
And you can do it with any painting in any museum. It doesn't have to just be this one. So I hope you try it out the next time you go to a museum.
I wonder what else we could do.
If you follow me this way, I'll show you another fun game we can play.
Okay.
So sometimes you might walk into a gallery at the museum and not quite know what to do or what to look at. So this is one of my favorite games to play when I visit museums. I start off by thinking about my favorite color, and I look for artworks in the gallery that have my favorite color in them. So my favorite color is purple, and so I'm standing in front of the perfect purple painting right here over my shoulder. There are light purple, dark purple, all different shades that really draw us into the painting. And there are a few other paintings around us that have my favorite color in them too. How about you, Miss Allyson? What's your favorite color?
Well, it's pretty obvious. My favorite color is yellow. I love the yellow fields here, but you could also see some of the yellow towards the top of the painting. I think in some of the land, maybe there's cornfields. Who knows?
So we're in front of another one of my favorite artworks. And hopefully, as you look at this, you realize there are a lot of animals in this painting. In fact, there are 121 different animals. And you may remember that Anna gets yelled at for roaring like a lion in the galleries. But that's always what I ask people to do when we're standing in front of this painting. So look at it and find your favorite animal. And then I want you as loud as you can to make that animal noise. So I see two horses right here, so I might neigh like a horse. Or there's a lion over in the corner, so I might roar just like Anna did. What other animal noises are you inspired to make as you look at this painting? And make sure you come see it in person and see if you can count all 121 animals for yourself.
Now we're going to read the book, I Ain't Gonna Paint No More by Karen Beaumont, illustrated by David Cattrall. Oh, look, the inside cover has so many different splotches of paint. Let's see what happens. Here's the title page, I Ain't Gonna Paint No More. One day my mama caught me painting pictures on the floor and the ceiling and the walls and the curtain and the door, and I heard my mama holler like I never did before. Yeah, I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. That's what I say, but there ain't no way that I ain't gonna paint no more. So the child went up all the way up to the top of the closet and got the paints out. So I take some red and I paint my head. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Oh, what the heck, I'm gonna paint my neck. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Still I just can't rest till I paint my chest. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Guess there ain't no harm if I paint my arm. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. But I just can't stand not to paint my hand. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Then I see some black, so I paint my back. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Like an Easter egg, gonna paint my leg. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Still I ain't complete till I paint my feet. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, but I'm such a nut, gonna paint my... What? That's what the mom said. W-H-A-T, question mark, exclamation point. What? I think they're in trouble. Y'all don't faint, 'cause there ain't no paint, so I ain't gonna paint no more. Now we're going to do a flannel board activity about our colors. I have some paintbrushes here, so let's say our colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Let's also count how many paintbrushes we see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know the colors of the rainbow. Do you know them too? If one were missing, do you know which hue? Hue is another word for color. I see a color missing. Is it blue? No, blue's right here. Red? I see red right there. Yes, it's purple. I know the colors of the rainbow. Do you know them too? If one were missing, do you know which hue? I see a color that's missing. Is it orange? Orange is right here, but it's pretty close to orange. Yes, it's yellow. Very good, everybody. I'm going to take away green, orange, and purple. The 3 colors that are left are red, yellow, and blue. Those are the primary colors. That means that if you mix these together, it can make other colors. Like, for instance, we take a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow. That makes orange, because orange is kind of yellow and kind of red. That's our first secondary color. How about a little bit of red and blue? That's purple, because purple is kind of blue and kind of red. Purple is a secondary color. And our last secondary color, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of blue, makes green. Good job, everybody. Now we're going to read the book, Studio, A Place for Art to Start by Emily Arrow and the Little Friends of Printmaking. And look at all the tools on the inside cover. Here's our title page. Here we go. A place for making music, a place for making art, a place to build and dream and move, a place for art to start. We call a place a studio when we're creating in it, or practicing, or editing, or thinking for a minute. Some artists need a studio with lots of room and light, while others find a tiny nook will fit their work just right. A habitat for makers with string and sculpting clay, a place where people twirl and leap or simply stop to play. Perhaps an animator or an actor with a part. No matter who, they're free to do whatever's in their hearts. When we have ideas, we can bounce them off each other, toss them round and shake them out, make something even better. And playing with ideas can lead to so much more. I bet you see what's happening. It's spilling out the door. From every little studio, our tiny magic rooms, we tell the world a story. We sing the world our tune. Art is made for sharing, An artist always knows that seeing it a different way can help your art to grow. Perhaps in big cities or teeny tiny towns, we'll hear the joyful melody of art that's all around. Do you have an idea? Are you ready to create? Listen to your inner voice and find your special place. Finding your own studio shouldn't be too hard. Round the corner, in a park, or maybe in your yard. A place to be creative, wherever that might be. Make it your own, an artist's home, a place where you'll be free. The end. Shannon, thank you so much for letting us come visit you at the Speed today to read some stories and learn about art.
Thank you all for coming to visit, and I hope you'll come and see us in person really soon. The museum is free on Sunday, so it's a perfect time to come and visit with your family.
All right, everyone, put your arms up, cross your body, and squeeze. That's an air hug from me to you.